Love, light, and blessings. Shamanic Adwak Priestess here. And I remember talking about on one of my recent videos, maybe last month, I don't remember exactly when, that I had like several or a bunch of new series that I'm doing. And one of the series that I'm doing, okay, is I'm currently doing a series on basically favorites. One of the things that I love, and this is a new series, so we still have the paranormal series going on, Tales of a Tarot Reader, Spirit Chats, all that. So, and I have a couple of other series I'm doing, which when I make those first videos, you guys will see. But this series is going to focus on my favorites, okay? Or most used items in certain different areas because I love favorites videos. But sometimes it could be really, really long when they do like my favorite decks, my favorite this, my. So I decided to break them down into different episodes. So today's episode one, my most used herbs. So just for a background, I do consider myself a root doctor. I work with over 100 herbs, and I do use the herbs for the most part. But there are certain herbs when I'm doing workings, creating incense, anointing candles, loading candles, performing fire rituals, or whatever the case may be, mojo bags, skitties bags, all those things that I tend to use or work with a lot, or even for olfactory. The first one I want to mention is coffee. I was talking to a lot of clients today, and I kept talking about coffee, so I'm like, I'm definitely going to incorporate this one. So this is going to be my top 13 most used herbs, cereals, whatever you want to call it. I like to use coffee. Basically, I like to use Spanish coffee. My favorite coffee of choice is Cafe Bustelo, but I'll buy, coffee from the dollar store too. And I like using this, like all the spirits that I work with. I work with a lot of ancestral spirits. I do have a future video. One of my subscribers asked me, what do I mean by ancestors? So I'm going to talk and elaborate more on what the actual meaning of ancestors are, and so on and so forth, because I find that a lot of people are very confused about what ancestors actually are. So we'll definitely be talking about that in a future video. So stay tuned to that. But I give my ancestral spirits coffee as an offer. Like all of them take coffee. Um, there's a few spirits that take two types of coffee at the same time, but most of them take black coffee, no sugar, no creamer. And aperitivo coffee is such a focal point. A lot of mediums use coffee in a lot of these ATRs or religions of the diaspora, not just to give it to the ancestral spirits and the deities, but also as the practitioner themselves to open up our mediumship, our psychic abilities, and our connection with the other side. So this is very important within my practice. Like every single morning, other than opening and closing a session, I drink in one of my cups for readings. Maybe it's this one or this one are my most used. And I make coffee before I start my morning daytime readings. When I close everything up, go on with my day, and then when I'm doing my evening readings when the children are in bed, I'm drinking my second cup of coffee. So I have like two. I drink coffee twice a day, and they're always for the fact of one of the ways that I prepare myself for my readings. My main spirit guides that help me with channeling and communicating with the other side and getting forth this information, they love coffee. And so that's something that I drink because she's within my spirit realm and she just loves that. And it just enhances my connection with my ancestors. It is a big part of my Mesa Blanca. It is a big part of my honoring of the Loa, the honoring of the Orishas, and the honoring of my Taino ancestors and my native ancestors. They all get coffee offering. It's very, very sacred. Also good for boosting up spells, speeding up spells. I also use coffee in specific spiritual baths of protection. It will actually be one of the herbs that I include in it. So coffee is really, really important. I will be going over this in a more detailed version for my students. More stuff because I don't want to waste like 10 hours talking about coffee. But yeah, coffee is a very important component. With that being said, another big thing in my practice, because yes, I do use alcohol and wine and all that, but not all my spirits take that. But my spirits, all my spirits take tobacco because in a lot of indigenous religions, so African and native religions, tobacco is sacred. If we look at conjure, a lot of our ancestors from the diaspora were forced to grow tobacco crops. Okay, so they worked with what they had. They had access to coffee, they had access to tobacco. So this is very, very big part of um, my practice and things like that. Okay, very big part of honoring my ancestral spirits, giving them either loose tobacco. My native spirits take this, my loas, my orishas. It's a very good way to open ourselves up to the other side. So a lot of tobacco cologne, you have tobacco cologne, tobacco candles, you have, it's just really good for channeling, okay? I only smoke for spiritual reasons. So tobacco is very significant within my spiritual practice. Even just the offering of loose tobacco for those of you that cannot smoke. Yeah. All right, I had to pull this because I actually exchanged one of my herbs out. Spirits like, this is the one I want you to talk about. And so this is the one I'm going to talk about too. In the guise of, and under the topic of, our ancestors used whatever they had to, coffee, tobacco, which were very sacred to indigenous people and to our ancestors of diaspora, cotton. This also, like, we were forced to grow cotton. We took that oppression and actually created so many different types of rituals and workings that feature cotton. We use these for our AKA hoodoo lamps, conjure lamps, oil lamps. Yeah, there's a certain type of lamp that I create, even within the tradition of voodoo, that uses cotton. Okay, cotton is an important element to it. I will not be creating that on this channel, as that is something that I've learned through, um, so it's one of the things I have to keep secret. But anyways, yeah, cotton. I also use cotton. It's very protective. Placing like a cotton on a windowsill will keep your enemies away. But yes, I also have specific lamps that I create and workings. So I use this for both protective properties and in the left-handed path. So I do work the right and left. So yeah, so I can use this for protection, but I can also use this for other things, for justify work, like I call it. So yeah, so like I said, what was readily available. Number 4, I want to talk about this one. It's a abre camino. So basically a road opener herb. And that's what it does. It opens up your roads and the doors. I love using this herb as an offertory to my road opener spirits. It literally has road opener in them. That's what they do. Baths, oils. I do make, this is one of the ingredients I put in my road opener oil. So yeah, I use this a lot for any type of block, like one of the ingredients for breaking blocks, opening up doors, removing obstacles, so on and so forth. So I use this a lot. So that's 4. Number 5 is this one, agrimonia. So agrimony is a good sendback. It's a good sendback. It's going to literally not only remove like frankincense and myrrh, but it's also going to bring in positivity and good energies, okay? Positivity and good energies. So I love this for one of the ingredients that I use for when I create oils, when I'm burning things. Pretty much like, not only am I going to cleanse myself, I'm sending that ish wherever it came from. Okay. So this very powerful in that sense. Okay. The next one I'm going to talk about is bay leaves. Okay. Bay laurel is literally, you can see it in tarot. Okay, six of wands. He has a bay leaf wreath around him. The strength card, she has bay laurel around her, a crown of bay laurel. Bay laurel was actually once considered a herb of royalty. Victory, that's what they call it, the making a wish herb, because literally it's a universal, like if you could only have one herb, will be bay leaf. Bay leaves works for prosperity, opening up roads, opening up doors, attracting abundance, attracting love, conquering over enemies. Like, it has so many different magical properties to it. It literally is like a clear quartz, okay, or like a white candle. It covers so many things. So bay laurel, bay leaves, use that a lot in my stuff. You can even burn this. It kind of gives you a very astral trajectory energy as well. So, hoja santa, be number 7. Hoja santa, so holy leaf. This is a good, everybody's always talking about sage, but holy leaf, hoja santa, okay, works in the same way as palo santo. It's a good cleanser and purifier to attract high vibrations. So great to add to spiritual baths and so on and so forth. Then we have white sage. I do use white sage. All right, my native ancestors love it. This is, to me, like a lot of people, I only use for certain spirits. So I noticed like the ATR spirits don't like it for my practice, but a lot for the indigenous spirits, or when I just want to remove all energy. This to me is just a remover of energies. That's about it. Like, it just removes all types of energy, whatever type of spiritual energy it is. And sometimes my house has just too much spiritual energy and I need to like remove it without bringing anything in. I just want to close. So I use this a lot for closing my readings for the day, closing different sessions, and when I'm done in ritual. Like, I always end rituals with sage. And then we have dandelion root. Dandelion is just like bay leaves. Like, so many people sleep on dandelion root. It doesn't get like the respect that it should. But this is so good for enhancing psychic abilities. Dandelions can literally predict the weather. Like, their leaves tend to close up when it rains, okay? Dandelion root also has a lot of medicinal uses, which we're not going to talk about. But so if you want to enhance your abilities, this is a good one to work with. It's really good for like third eye, crown chakra type of work. So enhancing one's intuition and also enhancing one's, if you have psychic abilities or mediumship or whatever, that's good for that too as well. Okay, so we have 9. I have 4 more to go, guys. 4 more to go. Okay, so we did 9. Number 10, okay, which should really be number 1 here. I use frankincense and myrrh. White sage and frankincense and myrrh are very sacred to me because, where did the white sage go? As I close rituals with this, I use this to open up ritual. When I'm doing ritual, I actually like to burn resins, not incense. And this just pretty much removes any negativity. It's dual because it also brings in positivity. So I do try to use these sparingly. So I'll use like one little, chip, whatever goes a long way. But some of my frankincense I have like forever. It lasts me a long time. So I try to use it sparingly, respecting the fact that I don't want to make any of the things I like to use endangered or go extinct, of course. So I always try to be very wary of that with sage and frankincense, but I do use it to open and close rituals. When it comes to spell work and voodoo rituals and all that stuff that I do. So that's number 10. Number 11 is rosemary. Rosemary is also dual. I like to give this as an offering to like Mother Mary. She loves rosemary, but this is also a good love. This is good for resurrection, ancestral communications. I've used it for, and also marriage, commitment, attracting money and protection. Good exorcism herb as well, and you can literally get rosemary from anywhere. This is also referenced a lot. Dandelions was also considered a royalty herb. Now it's considered a weed. So was rosemary. Basil. I have several ATR spirits that love basil. Basil's good for prosperity, love. I have spirits of opulence that actually take basil as a offering, so I give her basil cologne. So that's a really big part of my practice. So yeah, so definitely use a lot of basil within my spiritual practice. And the ancestral herb number 13, rue. I use a lot of ruda. When I don't use white sage to close out a ritual, I use ruda. But in the same way that I use it to close out and purify energies in a ritual, I can also use this for channeling and communicating with spirits. So if I have any of my specialized readings or whatever, I usually burn this incense for it, whether it's actual incense or incense stick. But I use a lot of rule for ancestral communications. So there you go. Those are my 13 top herbs that I use the most within my spiritual practice. I would love to see a VR to this. Like, what are your 13 top herbs that you use in your spiritual practice? If you don't have 10, you could do 5. I would love, or even top 10 or 13. You know, I like 13. But yeah, I would love to know what you highly use the most. If you work with herbs, like, what are your top herbs? Which ones do you use the most, and why do you use them? So, looking forward to any VRs to this. Much love. But if you know, you could even, and if you don't want to do a VR, just let me know in the comment section. I always love to know the things that make, you know, people excited to work with. But before I end this video, I wanted to say happy Pride Month. I've been wanting to make a video for days. Like, we literally started Pride Month, and I just wanted to let you know that I wish everyone within the LGBTQIA plus community to have a beautiful month of Pride. It's a time to celebrate, but also to be aware of the many changes that our community, because I am part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And so, you know, we've definitely have come far, but we have more to go. Okay, so I'm so happy this year that because I have lived my truth, but I never really talked about it on my channel, and I came out last year on my channel and everything like that. But basically excited to be celebrating Pride this year. Yeah, so I'm excited. You know, I'm queer and I'm here and I'm excited to celebrate this month of Pride. And I want to thank all my clients, subscribers, anyone in my life that is part of our community. Happy Pride Month, and thank you so much for watching, guys. And until the next video, much love, much light, much blessings. Bye.